Yeah. We're here. This is ChrisGottiLorenzo, my partner DonDinero.
Hola, Givin the negocio.
And you know, we have a special guest today on Giving Them the Business, you know what I'm saying? I want to thank all our subscribers. We're well over 100,000 since we started. Views, man, and growing. This is a beautiful thing. Please make sure you like,
don't
subscribe.
panic. Our shit's organic.
That's a fact. Like, share, subscribe, right to, I said adventures. You could do adventures too. But Giving Them the Business. And then I want to introduce my man, my partner, Ken Stevens, you know what I'm saying? Dyckman Basketball, Mr. Dyckman.
All day, every day, man. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Man, I appreciate you coming through, man. You know what it is.
Yeah, let's do what we do, man. Keep it raw, man.
Yeah, you know, so everyone sees Dyckman and what's going on. They, you know, I constantly promote it. I know my team all promote Dyckman Basketball with me. Right. You know what I'm saying? We are embedded in that culture. And I want to dive into street ball culture.
Okay.
With Dyckman being in the forefront, of course. You know what I'm saying? And let's go back to how did Dyckman basketball start? First, before I go there, how many years are you up in existence?
So this summer, 2022, we'll make our 32nd season of activation in Dyckman Park. So
32 years. Did you ever imagine that?
Nah, you know, honestly, when myself, Omar Booth, and Michael Jennings, three of us just decided to stop running around the city playing ball. You know what I mean? That was the whole thing. Like, let's stay in our park, let's invite niggas to our park, and let's see how we can,
so hold
you know?
On.
Yeah, that's how it started.
You was a boy.
Everybody got history.
Yeah, that's
a wasn't always close to 300 pounds, nigga.
Yeah.
Balling.
No,
I played a little bit when
I know you hoop.
Went to Kennedy, went to
But you know, a lot of
Kingsborough,
people, if they come into Dyckman, they may not realize that's how it started.
Well, for the beginning of the tournament, myself, Omar, and Mike, we won the championship like the first 3 years. Right? And after that, it's like, you know what, it's time to start moving on and going to the executive side. And, you know, we actually lost in the playoffs, which helped us make a decision to. Yeah, I don't want to say that, you know. We just stepped away.
Who beat you?
Coast to Coast. That was what Ike C. You know Ike C?
Yeah, this is old.
Ike C had the team way back when.
What year are we talking?
So that was 93, 94.
Wow.
Around there.
Wow.
So none of us played since like back then, you know.
Yeah, so
we played 3 years and that was it.
Once Coast to Coast put it down, you was like, you know what? Let me switch professions.
Yeah. Let me take off the sneakers and throw on some hard bottoms. You know, and make it work.
You know, Herb has a similar story with his basketball hoop dream career when he was playing ball. Herb played ball. Yeah, Herb was nice.
Okay.
There's a guy named BJ Carter. BJ Carter, he played overseas, everything.
Queens dude, yeah.
Absolutely. BJ Carter was lightning fast, and Irv couldn't keep up with him.
Right.
And that's when Irv came home and said, if I can't keep up with this nigga, how can I make it to the league? Right. And next, you know, cutting and scratching was his thing. He started DJing.
Okay.
So, yeah, I understand that whole thing, but you're talking 93, wow.
Yeah, like 93, 94. I think 94. 93 was our last year playing. We lost in the playoffs in 94 to go to the chip. And after that, the team kind of just got dismantled. And, you know.
And then you started the league up.
Well, the league was already running.
But then you started pushing it further.
Kind of, sort of.
Did you have a team and coach it first, or did you just?
We was all like player coaches, right? Because we from Dyckman, we're from the community, so we're protecting the hood. Right. We're repping the hood like anybody else who plays ball.
That's right.
Like, at the end of the day, like you could come here, but you can't win, and that was kind of like our motto. So we grinded and did everything that we needed to do to protect our home court. But after we realized that shit is. There's other guys that's a little bit better, you know.
Yeah,
time to move on.
It's time to do something.
And as you know. Time went on, Omar and Michael Jenkins, who was part of it, work obligations, family obligations, they just checked out. And the kids in the community like, hey, we're going to have a tournament next year and so on and so forth. And here we are like 32 years later with the blessings and the fruits of all our labors and all the stuff that we've done in the creation of, you know.
In those years, what's one of your highlights? So some of the highlights, because there's been so
on the court or off the court.
I'm gonna say, you know, since you said on and off, I'm gonna say on first and then give me something off. But it could be multiple highlights, of course, in a 30+ year.
I'm gonna be easy. I'm not even gonna go into names, right?
Yeah.
One of the highlights that I look back right now, and I still see it now, is like when I'm able to have the tournament NCAA sanctioned to get these high-level Division I student athletes a chance to play on that platform, and who we watched as high school kids. I use Kemba, for example, right?
Sure.
Kemba Walker, who played in Dyckman when he was younger.
Princess Amunda.
Princess Amunda played at Rice, from Rice went to UConn, from UConn,
yes.
The rest is history. So watch him grow from 13, 14-year-old kid playing in the summer league to now still come back, not really playing, but to show this is like kind of where I got my start. You know what I mean? So, and again, like guys of that caliber still, kind of giving back.
You mentioned Kemba. For me personally, UConn has always been one of my schools that I helped with the programs from Kevin Ollie.
Yep.
When he was coaching over there, bringing kids over there that may not get that opportunity to go play with UConn.
Yep.
St. John's, but UConn in particular, Kemba Walker's collegiate career that 1 year when he won the chip, he won every tournament they was in.
Yes.
That was probably the best collegiate career for any.
You can remember he had Kemba Walker and Corey Fisher went to Villanova.
Yes.
In the backcourt playing with Bingo, with Anthony Glover was at St. John's.
Yes.
They had like I can't remember all the names, but they had like a whole starting five that was all Division I.
All D1 players.
But we had.
How hard is it to get that D1 sanction?
Well, back then,
it
was like maybe a couple of pages. Where now it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
Because they actually.
You also get the NBA.
We get the NBA sanction as well. One of the flew outside streetball tournaments as an NBA sanction and NCAA sanction.
Yeah, very important, man.
Of course, for these kids that's high profile, right? Yeah. If you don't have this sanction, then you can't play.
Sanction is basically them giving you the green light.
Yes.
For NBA and NCAA
Division I.
athletes.
Yes.
That can play.
That can play that. And the reason it's so important is if one of them was to get hurt, God forbid, or anything, they wouldn't lose their scholarship or their professional contract.
Your eligibility. Yeah. So what's good about it now? Well, it's a gift and a curse, right?
They're basically giving you the blessing.
Back in the days, before social media, I could be Ken Stevens playing Dyckman and be at UCLA, and then go to another tournament, and I could be Joe Boogaloo. You don't know. Nobody's not gonna know. Social media kind of changed the game where you are who your identity can't lie.
Cannot lie.
And what's bad, kind of what about NCAA? You're only able to play in one sanctioned tournament. Wow. So you got to try to figure out where in the landscape of New York City, where it has 32 summer leagues, where you're gonna play, and that's the only place you can play.
Right.
So when I hear that guys choose Dyckman to play, of course it's just an honor, it's a blessing of what we all do collectively for the guys that want to be a part of it.
Also the quality of the league and the players who play in the league.
Right.
When you say Kemba came through the league,
it's a host of guys.
Then the league is only letting people know that, hey, listen, this is a starting point for superstar.
Right. One of the things I always loved about the street ball game in these parks, a Dyckman, especially Ruckers.
Right. Yeah. Recipes.
Even a West Fourth back in the day was very strong. But right now, Gersh, these parks, what it did for these players that was, let's say, on the cusp of their career. And I want to talk about something like that. Like, how many plays have you seen on the cusp where it either made them or break them, right?
So watch this real quick. I don't want to cut you off. So we had we had Team Posse in the tournament, right? And Team Posse brought out CatinoMobley. That's when Catino
shout out Catino. That's my guy.
And Steve Francis was like killing the NBA.
Killing.
So Catino came and Catino was on his cool, like, I'm just here hanging out. And there was a kid, David Capers, who was at St. Bonaventure's, who looked at him like, not today. Oh, boy. Bad decision not to be on your cool stuff. Bad decision.
Hold on, say this name again, because I'm telling Cat.
Tell him,
no, for sure. He's going to remember.
David Capers, who went to St. Bonaventure's. And Catino, I forgot who was playing with at that time, but he was one of the hottest tickets in town. That's when they had, it was Team Party / Terror Squad back then. So that was a great matchup and a great introduction to Dyckman basketball for CatinoMobley.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, he started playing better after a while, but he wasn't. He came on like, I'm just here to show love to the tournament.
I bring Sam Cassell down to the park all the time. He loves it. and one of the things that me and him always talk about is the mindset of these kids, because a park, especially Dyckman, with the energy it has, could really take away your confidence in a certain scenario. And that, you know, in any professional sports, it's all about confidence.
And it can make you think twice about your ability. For a kid that is a regular guy in the hood that's playing, he might cross you up and it might want you slip. Now you got 1,000 views of you, and this kid killed you. There was one move. You know what I mean?
You know, I've engaged so many NBA players to come to the park, mostly guards.
Right.
Because
it's a guard
one thing about street ball, it's a guard game.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have 7-footers in abundance out there playing. So you don't have the bigs, you have the guards that can put it on the floor, cross you up, make it up. So I always approach a lot of these guards because I want them in the park to play and give the opportunity to the guys that didn't make it to play against them. At that level.
Like a B. Jennings, right?
Yes.
We had the East Coast, West Coast
Brandon Jennings, shout out Brandon Jennings, even Demar Derozen, who's killing.
That was back in 2012.
That
was 2012. Absolutely. We had Brandon Jennings versus Too Hard to Guard.
After Brandon the business.
Well, that started the year before. Remember, that started the year before in Rucker Park.
In Ruckers,
where Brandon Jennings kind of like, you know, had a good showing against Too Hard to Guard. And the funny thing, that night he came to Dyckman.
Yes.
While we was in the park cleaning up, and he's like, "Yo, I just killed your man down in Rucker." So I told him, like, "Yo, if you ever get a chance to play him here in Dyckman, Too Hard to Guard that's his backyard. It's one of my kids. It's his home. He trained there, played there for many, many years." I said, "You would see a different kid." Set it up. Remember that whole shit?
Yeah, I remember when we set that whole thing up, me and you, like the East Coast, West Coast game, and just putting together assembly, because Mike Glover paid for us too.
Yep.
Who actually did extremely well against Demar Derozen.
Sure did.
Gave him numbers.
From the dunks, you know.
Yeah. And that's the opportunity.
Shout out to the Punisher. That was his name, the Punisher back then.
The Punisher.
So there's memorable times and moments in Dyckman Park that if I sat there, I promise you I could go
What's
through stories.
What's the one that changed Dyckman from a business though? There had to be one point. So you're doing certain type
2011,
of
right? 2011. We was already kind of like on the rise of coming up, notoriety, New York City Summer Basketball. 2011, Nike comes out with Team Nike versus the World. You remember that?
Yep.
So what Team Nike did, guys, I don't know if y'all remember, they assembled a team with the best street ball players that New York City had. 12 guys, right? And they had kind of like a
tour.
Not really a tour, because they only played in Dyckman. What they did was they had a bounty on their head. Like, they played every Wednesday. And whatever team they played against, if you beat them, you get $5,000. Back then, 2011, is 5 cash, is a little bit different than it is right now.
Still 5K.
Still 5K. But if you lose, the team still gets the money. So every Wednesday, Dyckman Park was like kind of like the turning point of kind of what really took us over the hump for
New York City beginning of what everyone sees today.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yep. That actually, and then next year, 2012, when we did the East Coast versus West Coast game.
Sure.
It's, to me, it's all love and basketball, man. The product that you put out, right, and the time that you put out to make it all come together is what you guys see. So I have bad sleeping habits. We talk about that all the time.
Of course.
Like, if you really want your product to be good, you gotta fucking work. You gotta make it work for you. And y'all guys know it. You guys that's in this business or whatever you want to do. It ain't no sleep, man.
How many weeks is Dyckman?
So it used to be 11. It used to be 11 weeks. Then the pandemic hit, right? Which gave us a chance to condense it from 11 weeks to now we're at 8 weeks.
Wow.
We started out with 20 college pro teams. Now we're down to 12.
Right.
Which again, something that you and I spoke about.
Absolutely.
The 20 teams, of course, when you have 20 summer basketball teams in New York City, the level of talent is not going to be that good.
It's diluted.
Yes.
Yeah, you're going to have a top-heavy 5 team.
Yeah.
Some in the middle and the rest trash.
Now you got 12. So every day is a day.
Every day there's some players
on
both sides.
You fuck around, leave somebody home and see what happened to you.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's
that's what's that expression? Less is more. That's exactly right. Less is more in this situation. I remember that clearly because we would have bad or down days,
right,
where the park was out of control, and all of a sudden it's no one, and it's like, but there's no one on the teams that's bringing that excitement. And the one question I just asked was, do you really care if you have 20 teams?
Right. And then we went from 20 to 16.
Yeah, we down
from 16. Now we had 12, and I think I'm comfortable at 12. You know,
so much history.
Yes.
In Dyckman, who's the biggest player that came through Dyckman?
Wow. The biggest player?
Yeah,
I know. Like stature-wise?
I know it's probably KevinDurant.
Well, KevinDurant came. He played. We was on the verge of having a thing with Kyrie play.
They came through the
play, but the park, the park didn't give him a chance to perform. A lot of the local guys, the slasher, just a Dominican guy to the heights that
I heard
his real name was Ricardo Rivas, but Nike did a big billboard for him. He was like kind of like Mr. Dyckman at one time, but it's hard to say names, man. I sit there and go for days and days and days. And a lot of it is just it's not NBA. It's just regular guys, that kind of made their way, not only in summer basketball, but high school, college, so on and so forth.
I always tell you how I got hooked on Dyckman, and that's Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill, yep.
Sugar Hill Tone. Shout out, hold your head, boy. You know what I'm saying? I know he's inside right now, but Sugar Hill had a team, and they had brought, when I came up there, they had, again, Black Widow played for him.
Yep, that was cool. Yep.
He was up there with them, but they came out with like maybe 15, 20 girls. They all had the tube tops on. It was just a show. And they walked across the whole court. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, usually you don't see that in the basketball world.
Right.
In these streetball games, in the parks that we were talking about to have them. And I was like, but then Black Widow, he put on that show.
Mm-hmm. What's good about summer basketball, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Because we've been in the park, like 99% of the times I'm in the park.
Yeah.
Like, not so much because I'm managing, I'm still a fan of basketball.
Exactly.
I enjoy seeing good basketball. Myself and the team, we manipulate the schedule so we can see good basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People just don't know that part of it.
Man, we're looking forward to these games. Like, Thursday. I mean, not Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, because Thursday's high school.
Yeah.
But, even then, though,
still high-level ball players. Twin from Skull Gang, and then you had Dominican Power, and then whole
Mikey.
Run. You had the whole bingo, had TMP.
Do you remember who way back?
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. We should. They're still back on the roster, I don't see why they wouldn't be.
That's what's up.
Yeah, they are contenders. They were the runner-ups to Nike in 2011 for the championship.
Yeah.
But some of the guys that don't really understand the concept of Dyckman basketball, it's like one of those things, once you go there and understand what we created, then it's easier to kind of listen to what we're talking about, because you can kind of visualize the energy in the park, the times on the court, the ball players, and all other stuff.
People don't realize the amount of time it takes for Ken Stevens and his Dyckman staff to put these things together.
Out to them, man. Yes.
Shout out to the whole Dyckman staff, everybody. Miss Sharon, I know, Miss B. Shout out, to Miss B.
Miguel,
everybody.
Dave.
I mean, and the daily grind they put in for this amount of time. What is it now? You said 11 weeks, was it?
Now it's 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
We went from 11 weeks, now it's 8 weeks.
So for this 8 weeks, basically 2 months of your life every year.
I wish it was 2 months.
No, that's what I'm getting.
Watch yourself.
No, that's the question, Kevin. That's the question.
2 months,
It's 2 months of playing time.
On court
playing time.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get ready for 2 months of playing time?
We really prepare for the next season, maybe like a week after the tournament ends.
So it's a full year, all year round.
Yeah, because not only is it the teams, we got to think about support, sponsorship. We got to deal with Parks Department, got to deal with the 34th Precinct. It's a lot of different logistics stuff that people.
I want everyone to know too. Dyckman basketball is a non-for-profit.
Non-for-profit, 501c3.
That's right. This is something that without your support, if you guys don't contribute from a sponsorship, this can't keep going.
Right.
How many kids do you take care of in the summer? 8 months. In that 8 months, how many kids?
In the
Basketball
summer
games.
or
Listen to me. Hold on. Listen to this question.
Yeah.
The kids that are playing the game.
Yep.
So high school down.
Yep.
Not the unlimited game. Those are all kids. High school down, boys and girls, and the youth program that comes in to help out.
So for us, I'll go with Court B, right? Court B is where we have 14 and under.
Yes.
For that court alone, 4 different age groups, 6 and under, 8 and under, 10 and under, 14 and under. There's 350 kids just for that.
Wow.
Just for that, 300. And then court A, where you have our youth division, 14U, 16U, you have 10 teams in both of those divisions. That's 20 teams at 12 kids on each team. Think about that. Along with us having part of the summer youth program, which we employ every year, 120 kids.
So you're close to 1,000 kids
every summer.
Yeah,
and it's not even like me patting myself on the back. It's just what we created.
Listen to me, I'm gonna pat you on your back. That is a great service to the community, what you're doing, and that's why I'm emphasizing this, because sponsors is so needed.
Yeah,
again, to make this happen for this nonprofit organization, because I know from a charitable standpoint, from a community standpoint, I know you're first in line for all of those things when it comes to that community
110%.
indictment. You know, the turkey drives,
back to school book
bags. I mean, sneaker drives. I mean, all of this is all year round. This isn't just, you know, like I said, it's not just the games itself, and that's why indictment, in my opinion, is so important to be there for that community.
See, what people don't realize is that I'm from there. That's my hood. That's my community.
Home. That's home.
I grew up there from age 7. You know, I came from Lower East Side.
Right.
That's where I lived. That's where I was born at. From 7 years old, we moved to Dyckman, and I've been there. My family's there. My mom is there. My sister's there. So all my ties and all my bones is associated, affiliated with the Dyckman community. You know, remember, I'm a black man doing this in a predominantly Hispanic community, which again, the love that we get. This when the tournament started many years ago. Let's give you a history of the hood for people that don't know it, right?
Right.
When the tournament started many years ago, blacks couldn't go to certain parts of the community. Hispanics couldn't walk through the hood, right? Because it was always going to be something. Right, because you know the disconnect between the two. But then as the tournament started, the tournament created this, I don't know, magnetism. We all just came together. You know, the park used to be the place where, the park used to be the place where everybody come and, you know, if you go hoop, you can hoop.
Listen, I was talking to Slasher the other day when he was at the park. And he said the best time he had when he was playing is when he's playing with all these Dominican players. And he said they would talk Spanish.
Right.
And he said the faces of the other team, because they didn't understand what they said. They're like, yo, what the fuck's going on? And they telling them what to do on the court right in front
Spanish,
of them. But in Spanish.
Right.
So no one knew what they were saying. And it was like, he said their faces, he said, I loved it.
So they also had like a damn near whole starting 5 of all Division I ball players.
Yeah.
They had Jeff Greer, who went to University of Pitt.
That's right.
They had Ricardo Greer, who went to... No, Jeff went to Ruckers. Ricardo went to University of Pittsburgh. They had Ramon, I'm trying to think of his... Oh, Charlie V went to Villanova, right?
Yeah.
And they also had Felipe Lopez, who went to St. John's. They had a whole crew of all Dominicans on one team. Division I.
And
along with one of the best Dominican ball players that probably never played 4 years of 4 years of college basketball. I know he went to Slasher went to FIT for like 2 years, 1 or 2 years. But
yeah, he was a killer.
With Ramon Mercedes, who went to Cornell, they had
killers.
Killers, man.
Philippe was a killer.
And also Francisco Garcia, Louisville.
Yeah.
Imagine all these Dominicans on one team speaking in Spanish.
And while they playing and niggas don't know nothing.
Niggas get whole like niggas dunking and shooting threes and setting picks. Like you don't know what's coming.
You don't know what's coming, man. That to me it was the
funniest. They got a few championships. Dominican Power got like 3 championships.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they did.
Shout out to Dominican Power. And Mikey, who's keeping the legacy going.
That's right. Shout out Mikey. That's my brother. Primo. You know what I'm saying?
But a lot of this story, I promise you, this ain't no hour interview. This is years
of course.
Get me started. I promise you, this shit just start going on and on and on.
Because I also wanted to get into
a lot of history involved.
So much history. I also wanted to get into the level of competition from Parks and how did that play into what you did or moves you made. How did that work out? Because in New York City, we have all these different, like I was naming them earlier, from Dyckman to Ruckers. You have now Gersh. You had West 4th Street.
You got Watson, Hoops in the Sun.
Tri-State. Tri-State, man. All was vying, and they're all vying for the same thing. The best quality player to come in and play in their parks under these sponsors that they could get.
Right.
And my whole thing was, how did you navigate through all of that with all of those competitions? Because it's all a competition, and we're friends with all of these guys. Like, we talk to these...
Like, all of the guys are like, we have a brotherhood, right?
It's a friendly competition, let's say that.
If that's what they want to call it. I don't think like that.
It is.
I think more or less, you got to do what's good for you in your park and your community.
Absolutely.
So, for myself, only person that really was kind of inspirational for what we're doing is kind of Rucker. Greg he was so high on the totem pole for summer basketball that you got no choice but to hear it. You might not see it, but you can hear it.
Right.
But for us, we got to do what's good for our community. Our community is different.
Yeah.
Harlem is different than Washington Heights.
Polo grounds is different.
What works for them over there might not work for us.
Absolutely. Right.
So after we just, I don't want to say disrespectful. We just did what we do in our community, and it should have been working for us.
I say this to everyone.
No disrespect to nobody else.
Listen, it's a great segue because that's one of the things I'm very strong on. I don't believe in competition.
Right.
Pepsi and Coca-Cola are fine, but only in our communities, with us, we always feel we have to be the one.
Right.
And it's not the truth. We was lied to all these years. Everyone thinks you had to be the one. We don't have to be the one.
We all can get it together. It's enough room for everybody.
You can do what you're doing, they can do it, and everyone can win.
Right.
And everyone's successful, and no one has to worry about each other. And then when you come together, it just makes it even more beautiful. Like to do special events, right? Because that's what you're doing right now.
So let's talk about that real quick.
That's what we're getting at.
And I don't want to go too deep into it, right? One of the things that I get a lot of slack for, and I say this respectfully, years ago we used to do Dyckman versus Hoops in the Sun.
Yes.
Dyckman versus KingDome. Dyckman versus... For me, it's boring.
Yes.
Because it's the same ball players. You beating up on each other.
Right.
And no matter who wins, it's the same.
Right.
But if when another tournament beats Dyckman, we got the best tournament. We beat them, you're supposed to beat them. Like, come on, so now what we created is the different cities. I'd rather play against DC. I'd rather play against Philly, and us come together as New York, right? Yes. So I'm about New York City basketball. Yes, Dyckman is my home, but let's put New York City basketball together and go and beat them up.
That's right.
So we go to DC with my man Miles down there.
Right.
Yeah. I'd rather do that than us play against Gersh.
That's the exact reason when I did East West.
This hood versus hood. Now niggas get beef over nothing.
Yeah, and it's not needed.
It's not needed.
No. But definitely, I love that part way better, where it's that let's go play another city because everyone
they can't wait.
Yeah, they can't wait.
They talk a ton of stuff,
Yeah, that makes it spicy.
Yeah, Atlanta, we got on deck this year. We got Boston with Mike Bivens on deck this year.
Oh, I was talking to Biv already.
Yeah, he talking. He talking.
He talking. He do this. He's like, shout out Mike Bivens, but he's always talking that.
Plus the program classes that we're doing in LA with the Drew League.
That's gonna be incredible.
So, my man from Atlanta.
Let me ask another question about streetball. Streetball, there was something, in my opinion, that made it so special, and that's the announcers.
Yes.
So we have Dave Ching, the best. I love what Dave is doing.
Yes.
So when did that start? Like in Dyckman, that streetball, that announcer that was the color commentator.
It's hard to say because we've always had somebody.
I understand.
Maybe not to the magnitude
from the very beginning.
Yeah, so we had my man Jack, who started many years ago when the tournament first started. Waffalo, even for myself, I did the mic for many years.
I know.
I for many years. I still do it periodically.
Based on if someone's late coming in. Or
we also had Joe Pope, who did the mic for many years. And then, but Dave came in and Dave just did something totally different.
Brought it to a whole new
We had Taz who did the mic for us for a couple of years. We had Jose who also kind of like made Dyckman. The name renamed it Dyckman Square Garden.
Yeah.
But Dave comes with these characters that he created a lane that nobody else has done.
Yeah.
You know, for him coming in as Rick James one day, and he might come in as the Hulk. You know,
Hulk,
yeah. So that changed.
He changed everything.
He changed the game. Yes. Prince, everybody.
I said Dave is again one of one.
Special.
He is.
And he's a walking almanac of ball players.
Yeah.
Which again is just hard to do for us or who knows a lot of ball players, right?
I'm terrible with names, so I am terrible. You're way
guy,
better than me.
He is. Yo, Dave, what's that kid's name? Oh, this. How the fuck you remember that?
Yeah.
How you remember that nigga's name, his stats, his schools, whose interests? He says, shit, just like you know, you dropped the pack of toothpicks on the 560. How the fuck you do that shit?
Yeah.
He's like that when it comes to some of basketball, especially on the high school level. So
you know, and one of the things
unique.
One of the things that those announcers do when they're really good at what they do, like Dave is, they control the game.
Of course.
They control.
Sometimes
outcomes.
too much.
If you're
a ball player, you get caught up in that shit. Yo, wait for me.
Yes.
No, fucking, it's a bad break.
Because Dave,
that's a coach, right? It's a bad break.
Dave controls outcomes of games, and that's something. Me as a gambler, man, I love that.
Oh wow. I never thought about that.
You know, I bet everybody in the park. I take all bets in the park.
Yeah.
All bets. I tell them, pick a color. Which jersey you like? And
I mean, I think when you go to the park, it's the experience.
Right.
It's an event now.
The food, the people,
the drinks, the smoke.
It's
the atmosphere. Everything goes into it.
It's a tough crowd. But it's not a tough crowd to be in. It's a tough crowd if you're on the court and you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Right. They're going to let you know about it. They're going to let you know about it.
Right. So it's like you don't feel, when you go there, everyone has their team. Now everything recreational is going to be disgusting. The smoke is going to be, you already know.
Shit is already.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But now that it's
We played against Baron Davis last year.
Unbelievable
game. With Slick. His streaming company, Slick, shout out Slick and Baron Davis.
100%.
That's my family. So at the end of the day, he comes in. But all the players, Kenny, all the players, they was from Atlanta and LA.
They got used to that.
He brought them all. I mean, these players was incredible.
Yeah.
And they was in awe of the park.
Right.
I never experienced anything like this. You know, Dyckman is notoriously known for people on the court.
The Oval.
The Oval office. You got to work in not in that rectangle.
Oh, no.
Because people on the court, so you're working in an oval space, and you got to work it out.
Yes.
And again, they was in awe of the environment.
They really didn't understand the concept of how can you play in this. Where really you got the ball and you navigated through kind of the crowd. You know, the lights is kind of.
What's the guy? He plays with, my goodness, the Pelicans, the Spanish guy, Alvarez,
yeah.
Did you see what he was doing this year?
Yeah, he was hiding in the back.
That's what they was doing against Barry's team. They was hiding in the crowd and then running out and catching and stealing the ball.
Jose, another one, played in Dyckman many years. Hami played in Dyckman. To see all these young kids, you know.
They're in the league.
They're in the league.
They're in the league.
It's amazing.
Again,
and they come back and, you know.
I could say Dyckman helped make them because that confidence they got in that park is what made them know that they could play at that level. You know, it's all
and they used to it. They used to playing. They used to playing at that level. Yeah.
They're good. They can deal with it. And that's something that's, again, an incredible thing for these young kids to go through.
You know, it's funny because I look back at, like you said, we're going into 32 years, right?
Yeah.
And I promise you, if my wife, I gotta put her in this, right? Because she's a major part. Not so much from the tournament standpoint, right? She kind of gives me the freedom to
be there,
to do what I do. Fuck, be there.
We just talked about
do what I do without.
Are you an entrepreneur?
120%.
Okay, and we just said how hard is it to have a relationship?
Oh man,
so what you have is very special.
He has
the support she's giving you and allowing you to do it.
I mean, she believes in his vision and his ideas.
Two things that help me, right? One thing, she knows that if she wants me,
you're there.
Come to the park. If I'm not in the park, it's a different conversation.
Right.
That makes sense?
If she
like,
pulls up to the park,
I'm in the park, and where are you? Oh, I'm in the park. Oh, this different. She knows I'm there.
What you have for this park, for what you're building,
because I'm from the hood.
So if you're home with her, you're telling her your passion, and that she knows that's what you love. That's what you. There's no other place you'd rather be.
I met my wife in the park during the tournament.
Wow.
Me and my partner, Alpena, who actually was the best man at my wedding, was sitting at the table, and I seen her. Didn't know her from a hole in the wall.
Right.
I said, I'm gonna marry that woman right there. I promise you, everything I love.
Wow.
I never seen her before, ever, one time. And then she happened to live in a building next to mine, and a neighbor that we grew up with knew her and introduced, and we just, we hit it off,
That's
fucking 4 kids later.
Yeah.
But again, she kind of gives me the freedom to, do what I do, without making kind of like a mess out of it. So
that's so important for entrepreneurs. Yeah. We just, like I said,
you want the money or you want the time? Which one you want?
Yeah.
That's the real shit, right? You can't get them both. You want the money or you want the time?
Right.
My birthday's in June. Her birthday's in July. We got married in August. That shit is fucking crazy. That's all summer months.
It don't stop.
It's crazy.
Boom, boom, boom.
I know those 3 days, 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna be out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm coming back at some point.
See, that's
I'm
what
coming back at some point because you gotta, for me, protecting the business, making sure that everything is running right, even though we got a good staff.
There's so many moving parts.
Yeah,
so many moving parts over there.
I walk away and it's like something always transpires, good, bad, or indifference.
I call all of this business nigga business, hood business,
right?
And
nigga shit.
Yeah, it is because it's not a corporate structure, and it's very difficult to get the corporate dollar into hood business.
Right.
And that's what we're doing.
And sometimes they don't understand it. They don't understand it.
They don't get it.
Right.
If they come out and see it, they're like, they don't want to be part of that.
Right.
They look at more negative things than positive things because they're thinking of what might happen instead of what is really happening.
I had a sponsor, and I'm not going to give him credit for saying that fucking name.
Yeah.
I had a sponsor come to the park. For me, they want visibility, right? You want to see people that can support and buy your brand.
That's it.
It's like, it's just too many people in here. I said, hey, talk to her, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't make sense, which was, you supposed to be like, oh, I like this. This is, I can get my viewership, or I can do an event, or I can do whatever. Like, nah, it's too many people like this. I never heard that shit before. I thought you wanted impressions. But,
average day, what's the amount of people on in Dyckman?
Average, regular day?
Regular day, Monday through Friday right now.
Yeah, about like maybe 2,100 tops.
2,100.
15 to 2,100.
Yeah, I would say 15 to 2,500. I don't know the number, but on a regular day, it's 15, 2,500.
Special events is just different.
Yeah,
special events is just.
That's something.
We probably don't get no damn sleep talking about that because it's all day planning, security.
Yeah. We talked about that before too, because that's
major.
Someone asked you and they asked me the question, and we had the exact same answer, and that was, what's a win look like for you? And we both answered, nothing happened.
Yeah, a day where nobody's running out of the park.
Everyone was safe. Everyone went
every day. Knock on wood. Every day.
Yeah,
that's the blessing. Every day.
That is.
I don't care who wins or loses. That don't matter to me.
That is the win. No matter how much money is generated or anything, it's about everyone.
You want people to walk out of here the same way they walk in here. Yeah,
safely.
And for New York City, New York is just in a different stage right now. So leading up to the summer, like, for whatever reason, like the violence, the crime just goes crazy.
I'm a big believer. Again, I always bring in E5, and I don't believe in talking about it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't believe in saying, like, when it's like almost they want to put it on us more and more. They're gonna talk about it more, and then all of a sudden more things happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not aware of violence. I live it.
Of course, absolutely.
My mind is always safety first.
Safety first.
Always.
Like, there's times we'll shut down the game because it's like, for the feeling is not right.
We shut down probably one of the most incredible games that was going to take place, and that was Jelly Fam Day.
Jelly Fam,
because it was too much.
Along with the Kyrie Irving Day, and Tariq Evans in the backcourt.
Exactly.
I probably want to be one of them. That's when Kyrie was a little bit younger.
Yeah. It was just too much. The energy was too much, and it's more about safety, and we shut it down.
But we've done a lot of great stuff in that park, and I have to commend the community and commend the people for what we all have built.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful things that I was dealing with you was watched you deal with the precinct, where they don't come in the park.
Right.
They stay out the park because you police the park.
Well, so what we do every year is we'll have a sit down with Parks Department and the 34th Precinct together, and we'll come up with some guidelines and standard procedures that we'll use for the whole summer. And that whole thing is, you have your security, right, certified, licensed guys, or whatever. Then we're here to kind of be the deterrent,
right,
and make sure that we're able to visibly keep the peace. Right, but your guys is kind of front line,
right? And
the community you guys, we all created this, right? So if the rules is, if you come with somebody and they acting up, and you come here every day, both of y'all going,
right?
Because you didn't tell him that's not what we do here. You know what I'm saying? So both of y'all, so now you got to deal with him going out the door. Or tell him like, yo, we here to watch basketball.
But you guys never had the reason the park gets so packed.
You lived in that area.
Yeah, from the Heights. When I graduated, he said Kennedy. I graduated from George Washington High School.
That right there.
She does. What I'm saying is that at when you look at why do so many people show up? Because I don't care where you are in New York City. If you don't feel safe, you ain't going.
I'm gonna tell you what.
You know what I'm saying? No one shows up to the park. They don't now. We fight. Human beings, you put enough human beings around, people drinking, smoking, anything can happen.
Of course.
So when you look at the amount of 8 weeks, the amount of incidents are minimal compared to what? When you show up. If you don't know, if you're from Kansas, you're like, there's no way. Right? So when the sponsor says there's too many people, it's like, what? Because if you're not ready for that environment, they might intimidate.
Yes.
That's some New York City shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking loud, ready to go.
I'm gonna tell you, go back before the legalization of this marijuana.
Yeah.
That was the only park you could go in. The police would be right outside of the gate.
Yeah.
And you could smoke.
I remember. I was one of them
no
smoking.
problem. But if you left that gate smoking,
I have a cover of one of my singles, Sin Miedo with Capito Santos, that I shot at the park. Nothing like that. Right. So what I'm saying is that's a great experience.
Yeah.
So anytime you go. You know what I'm saying? I used to pay the guy the little parking at the gas station, throw him his little money.
Yeah.
You never go saying, yo, we gotta be careful. Be like, that's like, those clubs, back in the day, those clubs you had to go to, you had to go strapped because you thought it was going to be beef. Ain't nobody going to strap to that spot. As far as I know, that was not a spot.
You're coming to watch the game and have a good time.
So that's the difference.
Right. Chill, smoke. No, I'm saying this is why not so many people show up. The minute it does to get crazy, you don't have to worry. People not gonna come.
Right.
Word on the street gonna be like, nah, that shit get crazy.
So one of the things
that's all they gotta say. Nah, bro, that shit get crazy and it's over.
Yeah. One of the things I witnessed from Dyckman is it converted, in my opinion, from just a basketball game to an event.
Right.
And why do I say that? In order for me to call something an event, something has to happen. And what happened was women started showing up to the games. When I started seeing the ladies coming there, sitting down in the stands, getting their little empanadas and drinks and smoke, and waiting hours in the park, it's no longer a game, it's an event. That's why they go to the Garden. That's why they go to the Barclays Center. They sit in those seats.
It's almost like the Summer Jam of basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you
why.
I
like the way that sounds.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Summer Jam
without the violence.
No, but I'm gonna tell you why.
We need to get back to.
You know why girls come? You know why girls come and that? You never know. You never know what star you're gonna run into. Because you got rappers.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
Right, but what I'm saying is that's
we
have an entertainment superstar effect that you don't know who's coming through the park.
We got Tiana Taylor who has her own team in the tournament.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
We got Floyd Mayweather with a team.
Mayweather's own team in the tournament.
This year we got Jaylen Brown this year with a team in the tournament.
So what I'm saying is that energy, people come to see that. There's a superstar. When I say Summer Jam, it's because you go to see all the acts, everything that's coming. You don't only go to Dyckman to see the teams play.
That's right.
Because sometimes
it's an experience, like you said, it's an experience.
Let me keep it a buck. If you sit in the wrong spot, you can't watch the shit. Motherfuckers in front of you, this and that. You
Niggas
go for
a movie, you
the,
sit in the wrong
the
spot.
energy. No, listen. Sometimes I just tell you from a fan perspective, because you guys are so deep into it. Sometimes you might not get a chance. No, because he's preparing for the next one.
Yeah.
Once back, so you're looking at it from a different perspective. I'm looking at it from when you be like, yo, you headed out there. I'm like, oh shit, bitches, niggas gonna smoke. Who am I gonna run into? Just it's like a networking shit.
Absolutely.
It's fucking. You got everything from drug dealers to this to that, right? So it's the spot you have to be at if it's the right game.
Yes.
Before you go somewhere else, right? So it becomes cultural. Hip hop has everything to do with it. Absolutely. Chris Gotti there, when you see hip hop, basketball, street ball, everything, the way people dress and the way they're moving. So I think that what you have something is special, and I think your legacy, I don't know who owns who owns the I'm just saying, I don't, but that is your legacy.
100%.
The next 32.
So
next 32, because I don't know how old you are, but you might not have the energy for the next 32. Your son, your whatever, whoever you pass the torch to keep it alive, because they're gonna hang pictures of you when you leave the planet because of what you did. So many kids you put in the league, you gave an opportunity to. It's a platform for kids to show their skills. And you know how many kids go around the city saying, "Yo, I play in Dyckman."
Oh yeah.
So that's one of the good things about, and again, the young people keep me kind of afloat of what's going on. Like I'm an older guy now, my age really doesn't matter. It's over 50. That's all you need to know.
Right.
Know what I mean?
No,
So my ties are to, let me write this shit down and I'll get back to it later. Right. These kids' ties, like, I'm gonna put this shit on my phone and I'm gonna, I'll get to it later. Like, so it's a different mindset. Mm-hmm. Even for our social media team, which my niece runs, she created Naya. So we went from having, I guess when I was doing the social media, maybe about 20,000 followers. Yeah. So now we're over 100,000 followers. That shit is fucking, for her, and to do it in such a short span, like, I don't really live in that world like that, I'll put a picture up on
our. You get your niece to do it.
No,
she was on the tech side.
I'll put something on Dyckman Basketball IG. Yeah. Now the website, the IG,
Instagram,
and I go back like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh nah, uncle, that's not what you do. Yeah. That picture you put up is a bad picture. They'll take it down and they'll put up a picture that's better. Right. A picture that makes more sense or clearer, or you know what I mean? So her whole social media team and all that. I can't. That's not my world. I tried for a minute. I just got other shit on my mind than that. But the younger people you have working with you, the more longevity you're gonna have in the game.
Because they have the ideas.
You gotta empower them.
And they change with the times, right? Yeah. Everything is changing like so.
And they're gonna give you what's now.
Right.
And what's coming. They're gonna give it to you. You just gotta be the OG to make smart enough decisions. That's all we do now. We have to take those ideas and actually we know how to actually put it to work the right way. And
one of the young guys that was by my side for many, many years, Isaiah Brown. Right, Isaiah played for me when he was younger, and one day he was talking in the park, like what you gonna do with yourself? I think I'm gonna be a principal. He's the principal of Capital Prep Middle School right now. Like, how does that happen? Yeah, it's many, many years that pass, and you look at these good people that you have with you, and now they're in a position. We had one of our guys who came from the hood, concrete jungle. The mayor of Douglas, Arizona. Like, how did that happen? Who was all by my side for many, many years. To have Sharon and all. Like, I can go on listing names. Say it again.
I said, now we gotta go to Douglas.
Oh yeah, we'll be more than happy to meet you guys at the airport and take care of you guys.
Yeah, there might be some business to do out there.
Thank you. So, I look at all these people and I look at a lot of the accomplishments that they have done in their lives, and for me to touch them and be a part of that. Sheesh. It's set to thousands, easy.
That's a beautiful thing.
Those are blessings that always come back and open doors.
So,
let me ask even one more really important question is, what do you see? Where does it go from here? Because we're at the pinnacle. Dyckman is at the pinnacle right now.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. In New York City basketball is concerned. No disrespect to no other parts. It is just what it is.
As we grow, right, and my mom, who's also a part of like our youth program and stuff, we talk about it all the time. I think the next thing that we can really think about is, and which way is on our mind, is probably building a facility, a sports recreation facility for the community. And I mean, I think that has to be the mindset.
Yes.
You know, we did what we could do. We've outgrown that park many years ago.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Absolutely.
Now that we've outgrown it, from us with our skills and drills program and all our winter youth programs, all the stuff that we do with the kids, we got to start thinking about how we can keep them together and building a facility where we can now do job readiness stuff or after school stuff. Like that's the mindset.
Almost like a YMCA.
Exactly. So my mom, who's with me every weekend, she's, all right, so what are you going to do next week? Like, that's our minds.
That's where
she gets some, she is in my ears about, you got to start thinking the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You can't start thinking about what you're going to do next year in the park.
That's not enough.
No, it's we passed that.
You're past
So,
that.
you know, and passing the torch would be to, again, my son, you know, or some one of the family members.
Could be Naya.
Yeah, could be Naya. You never know.
She's there. She's putting in the groundwork.
She's been with me since,
so she knows
13,
the inside workings of it. So she's definitely well versed.
Naya is a made woman.
Yes.
We went to Atlantic Records together, and like, how the fuck you know these people?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, we go to lunch together. We have.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it. I'm like the triple OG. Like, I'm in the back. Like, nobody don't know what the fuck I am. I got the diaper hoodie on. I think I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Naya, how you doing? Like, fuck, you know these people.
Yeah.
You know. So she's actually made a name for herself. You know.
That's it.
To see Khadijah, who's working with the National Basketball Players Association, and help leading that with the NBA. All these people that came up under our umbrella, you know, doing so well. I'm just blessed to be in a position to host so many people, man.
Like I said, you're doing thousands of kids every summer. You know, that blessing's gonna come back tenfold every time.
It's I think as long as I'm not visiting the penitentiary often for a kid that kind of made a bad decision, or whatever, or going into a burial. I've done all of that. Yeah. To see kids, you know,
that unfortunately, just the number of kids going through, you're gonna have more winning stories.
And I think that's the bigger picture.
That is what's going on in their personal lives. Will have to make decisions, and they're usually monetary decisions that they're making that get them put in a situation like that. And that's not gonna stop. But the key, you being there for them, and then all the winners you mentioned. You know, it's one thing for a kid to make a mistake and go to prison. It's another thing for a kid to become a mayor coming from your program. You know, so. You have a lot of great stories. And a lot of kids will go and do their time and come home and do great things with their lives also.
And also hiring Sharon, right? Hiring Sharon Bond, who is our chief operating officer right now. Incredible. Having her, what she does for not only the kids in the community, but on the sponsorship side and the community relations. That actually took so much off of me trying to be in 5 different places at one time, having a person that understands the mindset of Dyckman basketball. You know, I got to give her props.
That's right.
Give her flowers while we can. You know?
No, I watch her work. She's amazing.
And bringing in Machina and all the other people, the good staff that we have with us.
Yeah.
Like, people don't know, it's like, honestly, on a day-to-day basis for Dyckman, right? Summer basketball. It's like 15 to 20 of us. You just don't see it because we all spread out. But when we have an event, we talk about everything. You know that.
Yeah, I've been privy to some of those meetings for that.
We talk about every day, right? We'll have a meeting with a staff meeting before the tournament to talk about what's going to happen today, right? Whether we have skull game, playing against Ablight, security. Then I will have the meeting with security. Then I have a meeting with you can't. You have to prepare. Yeah. Prepare for. Not the what ifs, but what's in front of us. You know, people don't see that part of it.
For me, that was one of my awakenings, watching you and your team when you allowed me in,
right,
and be part and see everything, just how much work goes into, like I said, putting on these games. You're running a full-fledged corporation.
Yes.
Like, it's no different than anyone else running a full-fledged corporation. There's so many moving parts, so many things that you're worried about, concerned about. Money, again, balancing money constantly is an issue from a non-profit type of organization. And then dealing with, just think of all the kids, parents, So if we said 1,000 kids, you might have 2 parents, right, for most of them, right? So you're talking about that many more that's concerned about those kids that are in that park that you're going to talk to about what they want and what's going on. I mean, it's amazing.
We can go from talking to a 6 or 7-year-old kid on court B about basketball and then go to court A and do talking to a corporate executive.
Exactly.
In a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to flip that hat and be able to hold those conversations and be in that space where you can be able to entertain both of those conversations, and along with a disgruntled parent trying to figure out where's the kid at. Right?
Or why isn't my kid playing?
Why isn't my kid? He told me he was in the park with you.
Yeah.
So now I got to take off all this stuff and go figure out where her son is at.
Yeah.
Mom, he's right there.
And if anyone doesn't know, Kenny is that hands-on.
Yeah.
With all of these kids, all of these parents. I mean, he knows all of those kids. He's really, I don't want to say a dad because I don't want to disrespect someone's father, but he's the second dad for them. I mean, he's their uncle. Let's say he's the uncle to all these kids.
You know, when the parents are calling you or parents are telling you, hey, you need to talk to John because John's not behaving in school. And then no disrespect, the father's standing right there. Like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you stuck with...
You know why they may be doing that? Because they know the kid really wants to play ball.
He wants to play ball.
And you can stop
and
it.
I can stop it. Yeah, or, you know, hey, the parent will say he needs to do some extra work because he was misbehaving in class or whatever. And, you know, I'll put the kid right on the line and have him do some extra stuff. Or sometimes I'll make him just watch. Let everybody else play. Let you watch and see what you're missing. Yeah. It depends on the severity of the situation, but yeah, Dyckman basketball is my life. It's what I am right now. You know, I'm always Ken Stevens.
When Leo said, "You cut me, I bleed Def Jam." That's you with Dyckman.
Yeah,
you cut me, I bleed Dyckman.
Built it. From really honestly, and people don't understand and see it. Me and Omar Mike, we was the guys that was spray painting the lines. When the park had weeds and stuff coming out of the park. Yeah. On the court. When the court was blue. People don't see that. And also now, years later, we have different relations where we were able to get the court done over with the rubber surface, get new baskets with, you know, true bounce backboards. Like, people don't see a lot of the relations that we had to make. So now they've renovated the park, which is good.
Great.
That shit was supposed to be done fucking many, many years ago.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Parks Department, you know, but... And or just think about there was a time, Chris and guys, that you would say Dyckman, they'd be like, fuck is that? Right? Think about those times many years ago. Yeah, I live in Dyckman, or you live with the Dominicans.
Yes.
Now you say you live in Dyckman, or where the marina is?
Yeah.
Or where, you know, where they have the Pataleos at? Or where they have, it's a different conversation, right? Or where they have the basketball tournament at? Yeah. Where, you know, when I was younger, like, why do you think it's this in the hood? Like, I don't, you know, but it's good though. It's good to see what we all as a community have created and built. You know,
definitely
love, man. Always love.
That's fine, man. I want to thank you for coming up here.
Thank you guys for having me.
Is there anything you might want to promote for Dyckman basketball before we get off or anything like that?
I just like to continue to keep supporting what we're doing, and, you know, pray for us, and, you know, give us our blessings, and you know, come out and enjoy. Come and see it. Come and be a part of it. Yeah, enjoy the game. The tournament will start this year. 204th and Nagel, right under the train tracks.
The one train is watching.
July 5th will be opening day this year.
Yeah.
I think it's a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh shit, day after.
Yeah. Right after, we usually start the second Monday.
Yes.
In June. But, you know, because of the pandemic, gave us a little bit more freedom to have more time to plan. So July 1st, that weekend or whatever, that's when the bleachers are coming. Okay. So we'll have some showcase games in June. And then July 5th will start, but June 14th, from what I hear, Nike's going to do the New York versus New York campaign out there at Dyckman. And, you know, we changed brands from
Nike.
Nah, it's not from the Just say we changed brands. I'll leave it like that.
Well, something's happening.
Yeah, something's happening.
We'll let it
in a good way.
We'll let's let it happen.
Yeah.
Let's let it
happen.
No,
it's already signed. We good.
But man, I want to thank you again.
Nah, man, guys, thanks, man.
Appreciate
thanks for having me, man. Thanks for
giving them the business. This is ChrisGottiLorenzo, my partner DonDinero.
Already know.
Another great episode. Again, like, share, and subscribe to all of our podcast so you could get this. We could keep doing what we're doing and bring you these great guests like a Ken Stevens.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Follow us. I am Dyckman Basketball.
Oh yes.
Yes.